Welcome to Women Business Voices of Central Florida. I'm your host, Ariel Faith. Your voice matters here. Women of Central Florida building businesses with heart. Your voice, your story, your truth. Every lesson learned through service, every struggle that shaped you. Your voice deserves to be heard. This is where voices rise. Business Women Voices of Central Florida. We have today's conversation is going to be with Jacqueline Powell, the author of Finding Your Way to Self-Love and the founder of Powell to Empower. After navigating her journey through high-pressure roles and toxic environments, Jacqueline created Rise and Thrive to help women in transition build confidence and self-worth. What resonated with me is how her work came from lived experience. She's not teaching theory. She's sharing what actually helped her heal and step forward with courage. So welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Ariel. Great to be here. I appreciate it.
Well, you have quite a few things going on. So I wanted to, before we get into what you do and why you do it, tell us a little bit about the story behind why you chose to serve your clients through this empowering mindset work, and what drew you to this particular way of helping women.
That's a great question, and I'll try not to make it a super long answer. However, so I moved to the US in 2001. I'm originally from Canada,
Okay.
and I have been through two divorces, and my entire family is still in Canada. And not that they weren't there to support me emotionally and everything over the phone. It's just difficult to navigate troubled waters on your own when you're stuck in what you feel like four walls of an apartment or a house that feels foreign now after going through something. And so I navigated it all alone. You don't want to share really all the details with friends because you feel like you're burdening them or you're embarrassed. And I had to cry it all out. I had to figure out, how I was going to navigate going forward and restart my career. I had two upheaval moments that now I'm on my third career. So I've had to learn to pivot on my own and kind of not only navigate my own ship, but be my own lighthouse at the same time and know that it's you can just still find your way through. And over, the number of years of doing that, I realized what tools worked for me, when they worked for me, why they worked for me. And it's not the same ones day in, day out. And I guess that's why I wanted to put it all in a book and mostly just let women know when you're going through it, you're not going through it alone. There's no two journeys that are the same, but there's definitely the spectrum of emotions that we all feel, and to know that it's okay, that you're not alone and you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Many of us have had multiple transitions in life, especially the longer you live, the more things pivot. And I really like that analogy you used. You had to be the captain of your ship, but also the lighthouse, because that in itself is literally a difficult challenge. I can visually see that. Um,
Yeah.
and that creates those conflicts, right? The conflicts of, well, is it am I being too cautious? Am I being not cautious enough? All of those inner chatter that some of us allow to happen can really kind of take over. And then that's where the mindset work comes in, where you're learning to quiet yourself, quiet the emotions so that you can make good decisions. Did I kind of get that slightly right?
100%. It's learning to not listen to that negative talk. That negative talk creeps in and just takes over so quickly because it's easier. It's easier to sit there and beat yourself up when you're by yourself, and you're divorced now. And when I entered into dating my now husband, my third husband, and I was like, my gosh, is he going to see my entire background as just a sea of red flags where, it took a long time to be like, I see them as a colorful, band of pennants hanging down. It's a colorful band of experience. Uh, but I was open with him. So I had learned to accept my past and everything that happened to me as learning lessons that I was able to share with him early in our relationship and be like, look, this is everything that I've been through. So if I take a moment to answer you or change how I feel or how I react to something, it's still a process. It's definitely not. I keep moving the goal line, so to speak. There's no finish line. There's constant growth. There's constant push to be better and everything. So I think.
Well, growth is life, right?
Hmm.
And growth is and life is a journey.
Hmm.
So, we constantly think in school we're taught you finish a grade, you get a grade, you win a goal, right? You win a championship or whatever. We're constantly like, here's the end of what we've worked for. But really,
Yeah.
life is not like that.
No. I mean,
No, I mean,
some people that they're happy with that. But I think for the majority of us, we do want to keep going. We do want to see what's around that next turn, or we do want to keep moving the goalposts. I love learning, and
me too.
I think that helps on every aspect of your life. That's not just a personal journey or professional journey. I think they, to some extent, certain avenues intermingle both of them. I think
Yes.
that's why we keep pushing for more.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what difference are you making in the people you serve? You know, when you help someone who someone joins, let's say they join your program,
Mhm.
what kind of impact have you made that really lights you up in working with your clients?
It's the ones that come in with the smile that doesn't reach their eyes, and you can see it change halfway through, or and definitely near the end, that it's like they're gonna walk into another room and they're gonna be the energy. And that wasn't the case at the beginning because they're going through a divorce that tore them down. They're kind of stuck in that who am I now? They've changed a career. They've left a toxic job that completely dismantled their confidence in what they've been doing most of their life. And when they get that halfway through and they're journaling with my prompts, they're saying the things that they're creating. I'm giving them ideas like, if you say this to yourself in the mirror or tweak it how you want to, it's giving them the courage in their words. I'll guide you. You can be the captain of the ship. I'll be a lighthouse for you until you can take over both roles. And it's seeing that transformation. And I had a number of people say you should have this course be 12 weeks. And I didn't want to pigeon people into going, well, you have to do all this work in 12 weeks, because it didn't take me 12 weeks to flip that negative script in my head. It was,
12 years.
right. It's a long time. It's self-paced. And if you want to redo a module, you have that ability. If you want, extra help or spend an extra week on one, it's entirely up to you. And that's what I reiterate to everybody. This is your journey. This is your timeline. Nobody else's. It's your stepping stones that you're creating. And it's seeing them change their energy to be positive first with themselves in the mirror. And it's the impact that means everything to me.
Yeah, I completely relate. I do it from a very different angle, but I work with women in that are often, they don't really like how they look in photographs. They don't like they're older, they're wider, they're something, right? So their presence is a little not what they want it to be. I'll put it that way.
Right.
So getting in front of a camera is really scary. And they're like, oh, last thing I want to do is get in front of a camera. Um, but when they do anyway, and we have a ball, and then they see that their personality comes through,
Yeah.
and they get to see themselves, and which is what we see every time we look at someone. We see their personality. We see this 3D object, right? We
Yeah.
don't see a stagnant picture. So it's really amazing how when they get lit up like that, it's like such a gift.
It
So that's
really
really nice that you're doing that. Yeah, it's a gift that works both ways, though. That's the funny part. It's a gift to them, but it's also a gift back. it
100%.
it makes so much of the struggle that we've lived through, um I'm not going to say worth it, but worth it.
100%. And I get it. People have asked me, my second ex, like he cheated on me, committed a crime, went to jail. Like it was a dreadful time. And you felt like when you went out in public that it was a self-appointed scarlet letter on you that you thought everybody knew what had happened, but nobody knows. And it's that voice in our head. And some people, they don't have family members to lean on to help them get through things, or family members tear them down, or they judge them. So it's having a safe space to know that you're just not alone and you're completely supported and people understand. You need to cry your eyes out in the shower. Like what's giving you more, the shower head or your tears? Like it's okay. Feel the
Yeah.
feels, because the more you feel the feels, the less kind of power they have over you as you go forward. And that's definitely something that I mentioned in my book, and that there's no wrong feeling. It's let it out. It's okay. And I
Yeah.
think that's really important.
Yeah. I like to think of feelings as data. It's something I recently started thinking about, and especially with fear, because fear is one I talk about a lot because it
Mm,
stops so many people. But it's really just information. Tears are pain. Okay, why am I in pain? Is there a legitimate reason for me to be in pain?
right.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's okay, right? Is it I cut my arm off and I got to go to the doctor's? I absolutely, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's data.
definitely.
It's not necessarily they're not right and wrong, just like you said. They
Yeah.
are it's information that tells us something in our space needs to be looked at.
Mm. And
And
that's the important part, is to look at it, is
exactly.
is to take that moment and be like, okay, it's okay that I feel this. Why am I feeling it? What am I going to get from it? How do I move forward? Regardless, don't keep putting rocks in your backpack to carry them along. Take a rock out, examine it, and then leave it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's okay. So,
Yeah, and then our backpacks get lighter and we get to
right.
go on more adventures and life gets fuller.
I joke
Um,
and I was like, people are like, oh, what about the emotional baggage of all you've been through? I'm like, I got it down to a sweet little carry on right now. So,
I got mine down to a wallet.
right. It's TSA approved. No worries.
Yes, exactly. Quick question. Since you have the book that we can obviously buy and read, and then you have a program that's like a one-on-one, is that what I'm understanding?
I do offer one-on-ones through my website, but my Rise and Thrive program is a self-paced, self-guided, and we do kind of like a group 1 hour session every week at night. So it's
Okay.
and
Okay.
you can join them if you don't want to, or you feel like you don't want to for the first part. It's entirely up to you. That's kind of that empowering moment. You make the decision. It's not mandatory, but we're there if you need me.
Okay, awesome. So your when a client wants to work with you, they're looking for support. What does their journey look like from their perspective? So when they come in and they're talking to you, and they're obviously not in a good place, which is why they're talking to you, um, but they saw something in you, or they read something you posted, or whatever. However, they get in front of you. You gave a speech, maybe a keynote at a conference, etc. So, what does the journey look like for them?
So it's pretty, I guess, transparent is, I guess, the easiest word to say. And I try to encourage everyone that you get out what you put in. So if you want to skim through or skip some steps, you may not get the deeper level of self-connection that you could get if you really took your time. And that's, I think, what I want to encourage women is don't rush your journey. You need to read every line, meet every character, and experience every moment. And going through my Rise and Thrive program, there's 6 modules, and there's a couple different things that you go through in each module, like worksheets and suggestions for journaling and stuff like that, and some self affirmations that you do in the mirror. And I have little short videos with each one, just kind of explaining from my point of view how it helped me, or and supporting you, and kind of partway through, if you're feeling stuck or if you don't feel quite ready to move on, that's okay. I think we're all quick to catastrophize something or to beat ourselves up, and that's the whole point, is to encourage women that it's your journey. Some women will rush through it and they'll get what they want and they'll move on. Someone will, take 3, 4 months and work through it really slowly, but be super empowered to change careers, to start over again, to embrace being an empty nester. Like that's a big life change
Yes, it
moment there
is.
too.
And
And
it's a surprising one, I think. I don't think we expect it to be like whatever it is.
yeah, it's a different household all of a sudden
Yeah, it's
that your life is
bizarre.
used to, right? There's a different level of silence that you never knew existed. It's that different level of they don't need me. And all of those feelings are justified. They're
Yes.
right. And we don't always know how to navigate that in the household now. And so now we start feeling less than. And I try to help women through that. Even it's not specific for just people who've been through divorce or just it's all encompassing that if you really want to start loving the woman in the mirror, you really want to see her walk into a room with her shoulders back, her head high, regardless of the situation. That's what I want. That's the journey for everyone coming through.
Yeah, that's a beautiful journey. And it's something that I support and also work with people in a similar but very, very different way, to help them get to that point where they value themselves. Because if you don't
Yep.
value yourself, especially if you're self-employed, you aren't going to value your time. You're not going to charge the right amount, and at the end of the day, your income will be very, very low, if any. By the time you
Yeah.
do all the math that is required. So if your self-esteem or your self-worth is low, that will impact everything you do in your business. So I completely understand the need for this, especially I think at this age when we go in through, have gone through empty nest 3 times. It's kind of an odd thing. I didn't realize it until this last time. She's still in my house, but it feels, she's 20, so she's kind of off doing her own thing. You know how that is. And but each time there was a different reaction because I
Hmm.
still had a couple little ones left, right? So I wasn't 100% alone, but I had that. I'm no, they kind of pull away for a little while, and which is okay because that's what they have to do. And it's just part of their journey, right?
Right.
S-
Right.
Yeah, and we have to respect them for that. But the fact that I've done it multiple times throughout several decades, I don't recommend that, but it is what it is. But it really has given me an insight that I think is kind of unique because I can now look back and see, oh, that's what that was.
Right.
Because it was
Yeah.
going on while I was still having, while I still had kids. So I wasn't quite there, but it was just this little thing. I was like, what in the world? So hindsight is a great thing.
Absolutely.
It is. Um, okay, so what's one lesson that you have learned in your business journey that really shaped how you show up today?
I think circling it back to what you just said is to really embrace your self-worth, because how you see yourself and how you treat yourself and the voice in your head, how you talk to yourself, is literally the guidelines for how you allow others to treat you or speak to you or and intertwine with your business. And I left a really toxic corporate job in October. So
Oh,
like
wow.
just recently. And I'd been trying to get into running Powell to Empower on my own for a really long time. And I just stayed stuck in that toxic job and being torn down. You're not good enough. You're not worth the investment. You're not doing this. And that tears you down. And yet I was super confident and strong in my Powell to Empower. But when I walked through those doors of the corporate job, it was just a completely different version of me. I was like, well, nothing I do is going to be right. So here we are. And it was just walking away from that being, you know what? I've had it. I sat there one night going, why am I so confident? Why am I so strong and so sure of myself with Powell to Empower? But when I put this other hat on, it's a different situation. That shouldn't be. And so I was just, I'm done. And I think it was that confidence that I've built for myself through Powell to Empower. And so that's the key thing to women. It's like I'm real. I'm not going to sit there and deny that I've not been through this or I'm still not learning. It's ongoing. It's alive. This is live learning and being able to connect with women that if you're in a toxic job, by all means, understand that what they're saying and how they're treating you is a reflection of them, and make an exit strategy or make connections to move on somewhere else, or how can you do that. And I think that's important because women might not have that support
Or
at
even how to set a boundary so that you don't tolerate certain behavior.
definitely definitely
And that in workplace, that is super. I mean, I was always you know, a woman in a man's world
yeah.
in the because I worked with architects and engineers for many years, and you really had to learn how to not let the biases that were in the room quiet your voice.
Right. 100%.
I mean, whether you were right or wrong, or they liked the idea or not, it was like, here's an idea. If you like it, fine. If you don't, fine. It has to be something
Yeah,
that's not so personal. It's business, right? So
exactly.
you have to learn how to kind of not take all that stuff personal and keep it there's so much to it. But I find, and tell me if you have not found this to be true, I find that it's more it just reminds me of the Shrek movie with the donkey and the layers, the onion. I'm more like an onion. I
Perfect.
got layers. Um,
Perfect got layers too.
yeah, exactly. But I really do feel like our lives are kind of like that, because most of us start with this ball of trauma from something that we have entered adult life with, and we don't even know what it is sometimes, and we start peeling back a little bit, and then a new situation comes in, and we thought we've overcome the issue, and then something else comes in and it taps right into that, and you're like, where did that come from?
Definitely. Yeah.
And then you realize you have another layer you got to dig into, and it's like, okay, but once you've done that work for so many times, okay, this is just more work to be done. It's not like paralyzing like it might have been when you were younger.
Right. I think that's key right there, is to understand that, okay, so you found something else that upsets you, or you want to change how you handle things. I think not going into the bathroom, or not shutting a bedroom door and tearing yourself down for how you handled it. I think that's where we need to change the psycho approach to it. Is the minute you recognize it, that's a huge step. That you want to change something, that's a massive step. And I think that you should walk into the bathroom and be like, you know what, I realize it, I got it.
Yes.
I'm gonna put forth an effort. And the minute you're back in a situation and you feel yourself slip a little bit, but you catch yourself, it's like, okay, take a time out, step away. I caught myself. That's a celebration.
It is.
It,
Yes.
just because you went to go down, you were gonna go down that road again, but you caught yourself and you veered off and you took the side street. And I think that we're like, oh man, I got suckered into it again. I fell for it again. I let them take power away from me. No, you're not going to change it overnight. You can't change it until you're in those situations. And I think the more we can encourage women to be like, look, I stepped out of it, I recognized it, and I can move on from it. And those are the big learning curves right there, that we can kind of take the power away from what used to really upset us or bother us. I hate the word trigger us. That drives me nuts. It's like, it's just, it what upset us. Okay, it upset you. It's okay. It upset you. It had nothing to do with what it was, who it came from, or the environment. It's you. It's all on you, and how you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, look, I got it. I handled it. I moved on, and here we are.
Did you ever have a sunburn?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So to me, it's like, when somebody will come up and they'll put their arm around you, and they do it all the time, so it's not an abnormal thing. But then all of
Right.
a sudden you have a sunburn and they come up, and it's like they always touch where it's really sore. There's just
Yeah.
something about it. So to
Yeah.
me, those points in life are, people are just touching an old wound,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it might be creating a new one, honestly, but they're tapping into, like, if my reaction is a 10 to a situation that should be more like a 3,
Hmm.
I mean, it has a justifiable 3, but if it's a 10, then I know that proportion is belonging to something I haven't figured out yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's on you. And that's okay. You know, that's part of
exactly.
our journey. I need to find out how to mitigate those 7 marks, those seven
Right.
points. How do I get it down to over time a 7? How do I get it down over time to a 6? And it's going to take time. And that's where we're like, well, it's not happening. We're
We're so
stuck in it.
impatient.
We are. I mean, we've gone from if my phone doesn't load in like 3 milliseconds, I think it's like, oh, do I need an update? You
I
know,
know.
what's going on? And we expect the same thing in our lives. It's the journey. It's the day in, day out, the repetitiveness of seeing yourself through something. And then all of a sudden, it's ritualistic. You give yourself that little mini pep talk in the morning in the mirror, like, I got this. This is my day every single day. And soon you're like, I got this every single day. It happens. And you'll be down to a 3 in no time on your
Yeah.
time.
And just recognizing, I think that the situation is a 3, but I'm feeling a 10. Just that in itself gives you the ability to not react as that 10,
Yes.
because you know that the situation isn't a 10, even though your body is saying it is. So that awareness, that
It's
I,
empowering.
yeah, it is. And I think it's part of the emotional intelligence. I think the more we do this kind of work, the more emotionally intelligent we become. And it's
Yes.
not something we talk a ton about. Obviously there are people who talk about it, but you hear more about, the IQ being the only marker, but the emotional intelligence is really something um, we're not really taught it through our system. Like the school doesn't teach you how to be emotionally intelligent,
No. It's
which
not
is,
intentional.
and if your family's not emotionally intelligent, you're not going to learn it from them, right? So this is why there is such a movement towards being able to identify your feelings, name them, call them out, see where they're coming from, and then rewire the brain, really literally, by those affirmations. Or I mean, I
Yeah.
went through years of having stickies all over my house.
But the best because you learn them, they become part of your habit. Whether you just finish brushing your teeth, you say them really quick, and then oh, as you're opening the fridge door, there's another one. And yeah, I think those are incredibly helpful because the minute you start to kind of slide into the grayer side, you can look at one of them or I always say listen to a crazy happy song from a childhood or something, or there's different things that you can turn to. But I love the notion of the stickies around the house. I still have them. I have them on my laptop right here.
I have a couple.
Yes.
My you reminded me of something I did years ago, and I was thinking about it, and I was going, why did I do that? But it is really for this conversation. It's a good idea. I didn't like self-guided meditations. That was just a personal thing because I don't like someone else taking me on a journey where I don't know I'm going. Is a
Right.
trust issue.
Mhm.
Because I think sometimes that can get a little woo-woo-y for me. So I'm my armor's up. Okay. So
Sure.
how can I relax if my armor's up? So I made my own. And I made my own affirmation tapes. So I literally was, and I would listen to them when I was trying to relax or trying to sleep, right? So I would hear my own voice saying those positive things. But I think that was really powerful in terms of my own inner dialogue. I never
Yeah.
really thought about that
Yeah.
in years, but
That's
so that's
huge.
just an idea.
Yeah. I think that's great. And I offer that with I have 3 kind of 7 to 8 minute meditations, and then one is kind of like a 3 minute emergency one that you're like, okay, something happened. I need to kind of bring it down and collect my thoughts and everything. So I have those. I'm still kind of tweaking them a little bit, but yeah, I definitely get somebody that might be a little bit apprehensive about trusting somebody else's voice to take them somewhere. So I love that idea. I think that's a great, very empowering idea.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine who I'll probably get to interview sometime on the Voices, that because she's from Central Florida, and she wrote a book about writing your own affirmations. It's really quite interesting.
Yeah.
Um, So it's sometimes we can like kind of like the next step once you start you have to start somewhere,
Mhm.
and using somebody else's is where you start, but then eventually you start learning how to talk to yourself
Yeah.
and you say, "Hey, that's not logical," or whatever it is.
Right.
That does not make sense.
Exactly.
Okay, so when you think about the impact that you're creating, what do you hope your clients remember about working with you?
I guess the main thing that I hope they remember about working with me is the support and the authenticity that I bring. Like, I legitimately care about every single person that comes through, that I interact with, that I care about them and their journey, that once they complete the course, like, that's just not the end. I want them to stay in touch. I want them to be a part of the community. I want them to update me a year from now and be like, "Oh my God, Jacqueline, this is career change. It took me a long time," or "I found love again. Like, I healed myself
I
and
learned
I
to
trust
trust.
love."
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's the main thing that I want them to walk away with, is knowing that it wasn't uh just a course. It was building part of a relationship. It's the input that I can have on their life, because I know it doesn't stop with them. It's a ripple effect. It's they're better in their families, they're better in their community, they're better in their job, and that constantly goes out. And I think that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I will leave in the show notes information to contact Jacqueline Powell and her programs, so that if you are interested in more information, you definitely can get that. Is there anything specific you would like to share in terms of your services, something that you're either offering now? We know if I can get I'll get a link to your book so that they can, if they're interested in that. And then how, is there anything you have going on right now that they would be excited about or could enter in? Do you have any like free webinars or anything coming up in the future? It is
I'm going to do
January, so
I know. I did a webinar on Tuesday night, kind of a wrap up, from self doubt to self trust, a wrap up of 2025. So I'm going to do another webinar at the end, near the end of January. I haven't solidified a date. I have a few other things moving around before I choose a date. I don't want to change a date. But definitely my book is on Amazon. Feel free to follow me on the social medias.
yep.
Definitely YouTube is, I post little positivity short videos every day. So if you just need to pick me up right before you walk into those office doors, they're usually under a minute. um, Definitely there, and reach out to me. I'm not one of those inaccessible people. And I would love to connect, especially here in Central Florida. Like I said, being from Canada, I found my way. I joke, I'm like, I might have been born in Canada, but I was born to live in Florida. I absolutely love living here in Central Florida in the West Volusia area. And this is home. So if there's definitely some women in the area, I would love to meet, connect, help in any way, shape, or form.
No, I know, when I was reading your application, one of the things, and it would be worth talking about before we go, but you are also involved in some networking groups.
Yeah.
So that's another way people can meet you and also enjoy those networking groups too. And I wasn't even aware of a couple of them. So tell us about your Toastmasters, one of them, right?
Definitely. I love my Toastmasters family, and it's a great community. We are online only, so I am the president and vice president of membership for West Volusia Toastmasters. We are online 6:15 p.m. every Tuesday evening, and it's very supportive. If you want to participate, you can. We help people that it's not just a Toastmasters schedule. If you need help doing a presentation for a job or getting through an interview, we are there to help you. And like you said before, everyone starts on their own ground zero. Everyone has their own journey. We embrace everybody. And especially for people that are, learning English as a second language, Toastmasters is incredibly helpful for that. Very
Very good
supportive.
point.
Right. And so Toastmasters is definitely one. I'm also an area director. So the kind of the West Volusia to Sanford and Lake Mary area. I cover those Toastmasters as well. And then one that's starting this coming Wednesday is 1 Million Cups in West Volusia. So that we're meeting at O'Leary's Pub in DeBerry. There's going to be an official ribbon cutting ceremony, which is 8 a.m., which we're really excited for. That is a free networking event. So if you're a business owner, and it doesn't matter the industry, it doesn't matter the size you are, I am of one, and they are incredibly supportive. And the networking, they don't like to say the word networking, so it's the connections and connecting with other people. The referrals is fantastic. So those are our two. And then the one is babes, booze, and business. Got to be really careful about that second word.
I know.
It's still a great
I
time
don't know
either way.
what they were thinking.
I love it. I think it's great. And it's a great, kind of funny moment when people mess it up. So Babes, Booze, and Business is the first Wednesday evening for West Volusia here. And I think it's a great community and women lifting each other up. So if you're going through a tough time and you need bounce some ideas off people, be like, look, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. There's tons of experience to help you bridge that. And I think that's what we should all, and then myself, I'm a victim of it as well. I struggle to ask for help. I'm a strong, independent woman. But we are full of strong, independent women that have lots of experience and can offer to help you too.
And lots of issues. I mean, that's just the truth, but that's
Absolutely.
okay, right?
Yes,
It just
exactly.
is what it is. We just got to work on it and help each other. That's about all we can do.
And nothing should be taboo. Like divorce shouldn't be a taboo topic. Starting over shouldn't be a taboo topic. And I think the more you embrace those conversations in supportive, entrepreneur area like Babes, Booze, and Business, that can help you on a myriad of levels, not just professionally, but personally too.
Yes, 100%. Thank you very much for joining us, and I appreciate that. We will come back again next week with another local voice in Central Florida. So thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Ariel. This is fantastic.
Okay, so that's where it ends. But I
Awesome.
wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah,
Because I want to go to your Toastmasters again.
of course.
But is like the same link, or do I have to like sign up every week? How's that work?
Same link every week. It's also on the West Volusia Toastmasters websites. There's a link right at the top there. It's the same link every week. So
Okay. Okay.
you're welcome.
Yeah, that was fun. And then is the because I am going to that thing on Wednesday. I have it in my schedule.
Awesome.
1 million cups. Is that kind of like a BNI?
To me, when I went to the BNI meeting, it was really structured and really rigid. It's like a free, without the pressure BNI. So it's
Okay.
all sorts of different. So we've been meeting together every Wednesday morning since early October, and it was only allowed to be called Get Connected West Volusia because we weren't approved to be a 1 million cups until the first Wednesday in January. So
Okay.
we've been building kind of a group up until that point. And yeah, so it's run as in there's one presenter that presents for like 7 to 10 minutes, and then there's Q&A afterwards. And it's not that here's my book or here's my course, buy it, sell it, blah, blah, blah. It's
Right.
here's where I am, here's what I want to get to. What does the room suggest I should tweak or change or ask for? It's collaborative, and not salesy. So,
Which is
and
nice.
exactly, everybody's
We
tired of the salesy pitches and everything.
Yeah, and you need a team because you can't and one of the things I teach, in fact, I'm teaching it tomorrow, is you can't see because you're when you're running your own business, you're in the jar and you
Yeah,
don't always have the right perspective, and it's not your fault. It's just you don't have it because you're not out there. So you need the other eyeballs that have no clue what you're doing to say, you know what, I didn't really get what that meant.
exactly. Or you don't even think to look down another avenue.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, maybe try reaching out to this person. They know somebody that can get you there. And it's like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
So that's
Many
um
minds make everything bigger.
absolutely. So that's 1 million cups. That's kind of their basis is one presenter each week, some Q&A. And like I said, they don't like the word networking. So it's just connecting and people, conversing afterwards, with no pressure. Like when I walked into the BNI, by the end of the meeting, I was like, I feel like I'm like in school, like here, homework every single day, which I love. However, I mentioned to Colleen, I was like, I'm just starting out. That's a lot. I think I need to be more established before I join a BNI, but I loved the camaraderie. Like I loved that whole feel of in that meeting. But the BNI or the 1 million cups is very low key. And it's nice that it's in the little pub. So everyone sits at high top tables and there's a projector with screen and slides and it's all local businesses too, which is nice.
Do they have coffee?
They do, and breakfast pastries and yeah. Yeah, I think it's Palette Coffee. Palette Coffee. They just opened one in DeBerry. There's another one, like I think closer to Sanford end of DeBerry.
Okay.
But Palette Coffee, I guess, donates coffee every Wednesday.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Very nice. Very nice. We have to get somebody to do that for BNI. That'd be
Right?
nice.
See who's opening, like find out who's opening a coffee shop soon or who just opened and see if they want to get the word out a little bit, even for a month.
Yeah.
Most the coffee for a month or
See
something.
these, I'm all about collaborating in terms of brainstorming because there's so many good ideas come out in a group of people.
Yeah.
I'm used to that in the design world. So being self-employed, you don't get that as much. So it's like, oh, it's so awesome. But not everybody agrees with me on that, but that's okay.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody in that room at BNI knows of a coffee shop that's about to open or has just opened and approach them about, just like I said, for a month.
Yeah, we need to talk to somebody about that because that would be really smart. Just 1 month, you find 12 different restaurants that are willing to do it for 1 month, and then you start again next year.
Exactly. See? Locked it in. There you go.
That's good. Thank you for listening to Women Business Voices of Central Florida. Your voice matters. Keep sharing, keep building, and keep rising. Women Business Voices of Central Florida. Please like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Voices of Central Florida, shining bright. We are done staying quiet in the corner. We were made